everyone, to our Groundskeeper chat series. I'm your host, Meg Kruger. Today, I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Christopher Bell. And we also have our special guest joining us, Mr. Adam Virant. He is the Director of Baseball Operations for the Savannah Bananas, which that whole title there, that's quite the tongue twister. I couldn't even say tongue twister. So welcome, sir, to our show. We'll give you a chance to properly introduce yourself. And then, like I said, we'll be off to the races.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me on. My name is Adam Virant. I'm the Director of Baseball Operations for the Savannah Bananas, and I also coach. The role baseball operations is all-encompassing. It means literally anything and everything that people have no idea how they get how it gets done. That is my job, to figure out how things get done. So I'm happy to dive right into it with you guys.
So does that include the choreography for the TikTok dances?
So we have a director of entertainment and a whole entertainment team that puts together some things. However, we do have meetings every week called OTT meetings, where our players, coaches, entertainment staff will get together and we'll come up with new ideas about what is trending, what should we want to do. Hey, we want to do this. So it's a pretty collaborative effort, but a lot of that is spearheaded by our director of entertainment, or Jesse Cole, our owner.
So Adam, cool. I know that Meg would rather talk about the TikTok dances, but I'm going to force her to talk more about the grounds and the facilities. Okay.
Sure.
He's here to keep me in line. That's typically his main role, on the Groundskeeper chat, but in life as well, in the office. Straight and narrow. Well, thank you so much, Adam, for joining us. I'm very excited to dive into this because, I've been doing this for about 5 years. And this is the first time that when I told everybody who I would be interviewing, that people were actually intrigued. They were like, oh, my God, because Savannah Bananas has just been taking the world by storm. It's, been such a thing that people engage with on social media, or whether they've actually been able to go to a real game. But it leaves them, having a different impression than I think how they naturally stumble upon it. So what I would love to start off with is kind of your turf origin story. So from A to Z, how you got involved in the world of sports, and really how you ended up working with the Savannah Bananas.
Yeah, well, it wasn't always like this. We weren't always taking the world by storm. Just 5 years ago, when I started with the Bananas, we were ridiculed every which way. We were a joke. We were a circus. This isn't going to work. This is a flash in the pan. So here we are 5 years later, and it's a testament to all the hard work, but more importantly, that we're doing something that people enjoy. Yes. All we do is spread joy and happiness. That is our goal. And so it wasn't always like this, but my story is I was born in Omaha, Nebraska, raised by farmers, and I fell in love with baseball at a very young age, going to Rosenblatt Stadium where they used to play the College World Series, and
very cool.
And wanted to be a Major League Baseball player, just like every kid my age, and played baseball in college. Went to Fort Scott Junior College, and then off to George Mason University. I was a catcher, and ended up having an injury like so many of us do, and needed to figure out that next career. And in the movie theaters was a movie called Jerry Maguire.
Okay.
And so Jerry Maguire, played by Tom Cruise, just glorified the sports agent industry.
So
and I
cool.
wanted to do that. So I went to law school, graduated with a law degree. Never became a sports agent. It just wasn't for me. And then passed the New York bar, and I practiced law for about 10 years.
Wow. Okay.
Hated every second of it. However, I was kind of chasing something that I thought I wanted at the time. And there came a time where I just couldn't do it anymore. And my father and I talked about what's next for me. And so I wanted to be a professor. I wanted to coach baseball. And that's kind of drove me back into the baseball arena, which eventually led me to the Bananas 5 years ago, merely as a coach. I also had some skills from a field maintenance standpoint, and really just kind of like getting things done. Grayson Stadium, where we play, is a over 100-year-old stadium.
Yeah.
At the time, it was natural grass. It was poorly maintained, managed by the city, and they were going through some COVID kind of cutbacks. So we eventually had to learn very, very quickly how to maintain a field at a very high professional level for our players. So a lot of it was collaborative effort with Tyler Gillum, my partner in crime, and anybody that we could learn from. And so very, very quickly we got up to speed on maintaining a field. We were doing everything. We were washing uniforms, we were coaching baseball, we were throwing BP, but we were also maintaining a field, which took about 70% of our time. And as I mentioned before we hopped on, we just last year converted to artificial turf, which has saved us a tremendous amount of wear and tear, because in South Georgia, we get rain every single day in the summer, every single day. And we're not just talking a little bit of rain. We're talking torrential downpours. We have a lot of volume on our field. We have 4 teams in-house using this field. And so the transition to artificial turf was natural for us because of the wear and tear. Additionally, with the climate that we have down here, with the hot summers, a lot of rain, has really saved us a tremendous amount of work where we can actually focus on putting on the greatest show in sports.
Definitely. And it truly is the greatest show in sports. And I think I interviewed Will Cole a few weeks back, and he was having the firefighters at his stadium, the Salem Red Sox stadium. And he said that, I don't know if this was a coined term by your team or just how people have been perceiving the Savannah Bananas, but he said it was, family first, like, atmosphere. And I really think that encompasses how people have been able to interact with this version of baseball, is it's really putting, the family first, in the sense that you could bring your kids to these games. They'll be entertained the entire time, but also it's just that family friendly atmosphere as well.
Absolutely. The name of our organization is actually Fans First Entertainment.
Okay, very cool.
Every decision we make, we ask one central question, and it's, is this best for the fans? Whatever it may be. Sorry, I just went on low battery here. So whatever it may be, is this best for the fans? And you're exactly right. We put on a very positive, family-friendly show. But it's not just for kids. A lot of people say, oh, that's just for little kids. It's actually for the entire family, because if the family's coming out together to the ballpark, we want everybody to have a great experience. It's not just going for Chuck E. Cheese, which is for the kids. It's the whole thing. So we have sing-alongs, we have comedy, we have great baseball, we have hilarious promos, we have lots of music. But at the end of the day, it's all positive. You're not going to leave any of our shows saying, you know what, that was a little too edgy for us, we're not going to bring our kids back, or that was too much for kids. There's literally something for everybody. And so, we were just at Salem, the firefighters headliner tour. And so they had a great time in Salem.
Very cool. And what does that typical day in the life look like for you now that you guys are on the world tour? Does that include, you traveling with the team as well, or really walk us through that day in the life?
Absolutely. So I travel with the Bananas. I'm one of the coaches, and a day in the life, when we go into a city, for instance, we just came back from St. Louis. But we fly in, if we play a Friday and Saturday game, we'll fly in on a Wednesday, and then we'll do a full rehearsal of all the show elements, all the entertainment elements, the blocking of the camera shots and everything on Thursday. That's mostly to make sure that the things that we can control, the entertainment, the promos, that we nail those, both for the live show and also online, whether it's YouTube or ESPN or whomever we're playing on. And so that Thursday will be a full-on rehearsal. We'll walk the plaza, because a lot of what we do is fans first. So we need to make sure that we have all the touch points down. We also will do some actual baseball activity on Thursday to get the guys used to the field. On a game day for a 7 o'clock start, we'll arrive around 9:30 and take batting practice around 11:30. Do a minor little bit of rehearsal, just kind of to brush up on things, adjust any things that need to be. And at 2 o'clock, we open up our plaza. We don't open up the gates, but we open up the plaza where we have a big old long festival of music and entertainment and things of that nature. And we'll sign autographs for about an hour, both the Bananas or the Party Animals or whoever we're playing. And that will lead right up until opening of the gates, where we do the march. All the fans will line up. We'll do the march, high five everybody. And gates will usually open up around 4:30. People will come in. And so from 4:30 all the way till about 9:15, fans are starting to get entertained. We are doing entertainment. So, our guys are on their feet. All of our casts are on their feet from essentially 10:30, 11 o'clock until about 9:30 when we do a big send off. It's a long day, but it's a very rewarding day because, again, we're just spreading joy and happiness for families. And there's nothing better than seeing smiles on people's faces.
Would that be a similar schedule when you're in Savannah?
It is. So in Savannah, it'll be pushed back by an hour. Gates will open up at 5:30 because it's a smaller ballpark. Mm-hmm. We have 5,000 fans that can be seated at Grayson compared to, say, 45,000 or 50 at a major league park. Yes. The reason we open up a little bit earlier is if you have 20, 30,000 people waiting to get in, we can't have them waiting too long in the streets. So that's why we open up an hour earlier. But at Grayson, same schedule except for just an hour later gate open.
So when you guys, hit a new city on that Wednesday and, you get the lay of the land, do you have like a system for kind of assessing playability and safety since you guys are coming into a different field every week on the World Tour?
That's a great question. So whenever we come to a new ballpark that is not our own, we work very, very closely with the field managers, the groundskeepers, mostly because they don't really know us. They don't realize that it's legitimately a version of baseball. They see TikTok, they see the social media, they see the crazy things. And that scares major league groundskeepers, right? Especially who are in season. So one of the things that myself or Tyler Gillum does a good job of is reaching out to these field managers and lowering that anxiety level. Mm-hmm. We walk them through what to expect from, there's going to be more traction. There's going to be more volume from a feet standpoint on the grass, but we're not going to be ripping it apart. We're not going to have horses out there. We're not going to be lighting it on fire. But what can we do to work together so we can make sure we can put on our show? You can make sure that your field is protected. And so when we leave at the end of our run there, that we can shake hands and say, man, that was really great. And thank you for taking care of my field. So when it comes down to playability and things of that nature, exclusively that is in the hands of any of the field managers, any of the director of fields. But laying the groundwork about what we need, as opposed to telling them this is what's going to happen, has proven to be really, really beneficial for us and has bought us a lot of equity with field managers because they all talk. When, if we were at Fenway and then in Nationals Park, when we went to St. Louis this week, Billy, the grounds guy, was like, yep, I talked to all those guys and they gave me the lay of the land. So we need to make sure that we maintain those relationships because at the end of the day, if they get a little bit of rain and they don't like us, they can just shut us down very quickly.
Yeah. What are some of those things to, really build that trust and communication when it's on the fly like that? Most coaches, they're at their stadium throughout the entire season, throughout the entire year. They have that ability to really build on that relationship. How do you guys kind of come in and establish that quickly since it's necessary to get both jobs done?
Yeah, that's a great question. It starts weeks in advance. So it's literally just finding out who the right party is to talk to and then merely just reaching out and starting to create a relationship. Typically, the first phone call is very, very, you can tell on the other end that they have a lot of concerns and questions. Yeah. But it's about establishing relationships, letting them know that we are real baseball guys through and through. And we understand how important it is to maintain the playability of the field on their end, especially if they're in season in a major league season. So it's literally acknowledging their concerns, acknowledging that we're going to take care of the field. Our guys understand this. This isn't the first major league stadium that we played at, so we know how to act accordingly. And then it's just constant communication and mostly sticking to whatever we say is going to happen, actually honoring that. That's the biggest piece because there's nothing worse than if we tell a groundskeeper, hey, there's not going to be any fireworks. And then all of a sudden somebody comes out with Roman candles. Yep. And all of a sudden they're like, you said this and that we can't do that. So it's literally relationships are everything. It really is. And so it does have to be short circuited and accelerated, that relationship building a little bit. But once you get us on the phone and then we meet in person, we can see eye to eye and we can work together very, very well.
So Adam, how many years have you guys taken the show on the road now?
So we're on our 5th tour, taking the show on the road. We started with a one city world tour where we went to Mobile, Alabama.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So we started as a college summer league team in the Central Plains League, and Jesse Cole and Emily Cole made a decision that they need to make some money in the off season when all the summer guys are back in school. And so that is when Jesse said, let's see if we can take this on the road. And we did that coming right out of COVID. We went to Mobile. I think it was one of the only stadiums that would open up to us. And we learned a lot. That show 5 years ago pales in comparison to the way it is now. There was very little walk-ups. We didn't play games as quickly as we do now. There was no trick plays. And that show was really, really developed. Basically, it's developed because it had to, but mostly to adjust to the new size of the stadiums. You know, we were playing in Grayson Stadium, which was 4,000 seats at the time. We have since added 1,000. Mobile was about 6,000 or 7,000. And we've had to adapt all the way up to 71,000, which was Clemson Death Valley football field.
Crazy.
I love it. It's called a one city world tour.
That's right. That's right. Makes sense.
I love it. And because what I just saw someone's walk up. They started all the way back, like at the pitcher's warm up area, and they ran the entire course of the field. And I was just like, wow, that really does. I mean, it's the big leagues now. Like, it really feels like it's at the most elite like level. It's so cool to experience it as a viewer and seeing it from the sidelines.
It's been amazing to see how this has grown and how quickly it's grown. Again, 5 years ago, we just had music and we were playing by different rules. And now we have All-American rejects playing on the side, next to the dugout at Fenway and doing walk-ups, right?
So cool.
We have major league players, former major league stars joining us. We have country music singers doing halftime shows at a baseball game. That doesn't happen. And so the show is really developed, but it has to, because we do not want people to just come to one show and say, I saw it, I don't need to see it again. It's kind of what happened with the Globetrotters. I remember seeing the Globetrotters back in the 80s when I was a kid, and the show really hasn't developed. They've kind of adjusted a little bit, but we have people who literally come to almost every single one of our games.
Very cool.
And that's a testament that there's something new and fresh and invigorating for people who have seen us in Grayson, in the large fields and in medium fields. It's really real special. I've been very, very fortunate to have a bird's eye view of the development of this event.
And, we often talk about the baseball season and how like treacherous it can almost be on not only the players, the coaches, the field managers, because it is just so long. But I can imagine when you're on, this side of the industry and you have that joy and, sharing all of that joy with others, that it kind of fills your cup when you need it most.
There's no doubt. If what we do is very demanding, it is very, very hard. And if you don't get true joy and happiness in anything you're doing, it'll burn you out. I've been there. That's what happened to me as a lawyer. I imagine that happens with so many people in different industries. And I'm lucky. I'm one of the lucky ones who later on in life found a place that puts joy, happiness, and just spreads goodness to their fan base. And, unlike other events or products, if it's a baseball game, people will leave because they had a bad experience or the game was too long or something went wrong. And so for me, you nailed it. It fills my cup by literally putting smiles on people's faces, by making a connection, just like people made an impact and a connection with me as a young kid. And so, yes, that keeps you going. That helps you get through the heat and the long days and the rainouts and the rain delays and everything like that. You can still put on a smile. And one of the things a lot of our fans say is, I was here at 2 o'clock and you guys had a smile on your face, and I'm leaving at 9:30 and you guys still have smiles on your faces.
That's
And
incredible.
And it's like, yeah, I literally have the best job in all of sports. Some people wanted to be major league players just like I do, like I did. No doubt that I have the best job in sports because I still get to exercise that sport and coach muscle, but also the entertainment piece. But at the end of the day, just making somebody feel seen and appreciated and loved, just like we love all of our fans.
Well, I definitely, I can feel that radiating through this conversation, that you really do have that passion for it. Is there one moment, a lot of groundskeepers say it's that kickoff time for them, that just like it is just something that reminds them why they love this job every time. Is there a moment from game day or even just traveling with the team that like reinvigorates you, or it's like you look forward to having that kind of refuel you every time?
That's a great question. One of the things we did this year is we started playing at football stadiums.
Yes.
And
yes.
The reason we did that is, well, the first stadium we played at was Raymond James in Tampa Bay.
Okay.
And that was just a product of circumstances. We were supposed to play at the Tampa Bay Rays stadium. Okay. They had a hurricane come through. It ripped off the roof to their stadium and it was unplayable.
Yes.
So we had already sold out 2 games at that Tampa Bay Rays stadium. So we had to pivot. And our natural pivot was Raymond James Stadium.
Yeah.
And so the invigorating thing for me is new challenges. And that's one thing we do a really good job with here with the Bananas is we tackle really, really tough problems, really, really big challenges. And one of them was, hey, how are we going to play baseball at a football field?
Yeah.
And so I was called in because it sounded interesting to me. Plus, I love tackling these big projects. And we had to build a baseball field on a football field and put a 50-foot net all the way around so we could, protect our fans from getting smoked by a baseball. And we'd never done it before. And so building fields, yeah, that has happened, but actually making it playable and safe and building dugouts and putting up foul poles. We use the uprights from the NFL goalpost as our foul poles.
Very cool.
That was an idea that came from Clemson. So it's those unique, fun challenges that really invigorate me because while I love going to these major league parks, other than the different dimensions and architecture, they're all pretty much the same, right? We kind of show up and we have our routine. Well, I don't get bored with that. I still get fired up about that. But having a new challenge of building these baseball fields on football fields, that fires me up because, man, there's nothing better than a sense of accomplishment by going into a football field and it's a football field. And then 5 days later, you have a full field built and then you put on one of the greatest shows and everybody leaves happy. There's nothing more rewarding than sitting at home plate after everybody left and just realizing that you made that happen. That's really special.
So cool. And we actually, so one of our employees here at Pioneer, he was the head groundskeeper at Raymond James for what, like 30 years, Wayne?
A long time.
Long time. And now he's on Team Pioneer. So I love that your football origin story started there because he'll be happy to hear that. It holds a special place in his heart for sure.
Oh, yeah. Trey helped us build that field in Raymond James. He had a baseball background, worked in Augusta, I think in maybe Greenville for a while.
Okay, very cool.
And seeing him help build that field because it was different was really cool. It gave him a lift as well. So I think that, if you work in turf management and you work on fields, it's just the same thing over and over and over again. And so I really think that we are also inspiring field directors and field managers when we come in and we do something wildly different that nobody's ever done. And we kind of tackle it together. We tackle these unique challenges together. So that first one was really, really fun. It came out really well. If you haven't seen the photos of the baseball field at Raymond James, go check it out. It's a beautiful sight.
I definitely will. That is very cool. And, I think another, when you said you do that initial call with grounds managers and you kind of ease their apprehension, what's something you could tell of all of our listeners that are listening today, that how does that conversation kind of go? How do you initially, ease their mind, and what can people walk away from this chat being like, oh, okay, I didn't know that, or now I know if it ever comes to my stadium, like this is, what I can expect, and, have a better taste in their mouth. Not that I'm saying you guys have a bad taste in their mouth. Everyone I've talked to has been like, wow, what an experience they put on. And also to work with you guys has been really enjoyable.
Yeah, that initial call is all about dispelling any misconceptions that they may have. Again, a lot of people have seen us only on TikTok. So we did a thing with a fire pitch where we lit a ball on fire and then threw it. And that terrifies, I'm sure that terrifies all field managers. What is this chemical? Is it going to burn our field? Is it going to light the field on fire? And so dispelling a lot of concerns right off the bat about what's not going to happen, what to expect. And listen, usually it's always worse in our head when we kind of make it up and we say, this is going to be awful. They're going to stilts. We have a guy on stilts, and it's like, what's on the bottom of those feet? What do they look like? Is it going to tear up the grass? And it's literally taking all of the worst things that I know are going to happen, and they're not that bad, and getting those out in the forefront, and then just reassuring them that at the end of the day, we are professional baseball players. And professional banana ball players, I should say. And so the baseball activity is the exact same that they see at the major league level. I would argue that it's even lighter because we're on a 2-hour time clock. So we're not 3.5 hours, tons of pitching changes, digging up stuff. Things move very, very fast. So that initial call is dispelling misconceptions, assuring them that we've done this before, that, what precautionary measures we are going to take by keeping people on dirt as much as possible, as opposed to keeping them on grass. But again, and whatever I say in that initial call, we have to honor that. And so, that's usually what it is. When you have an initial phone call with somebody and you get on their same page and you let them know that I want to shake your hand at the end of this and feel comfortable that the field is in just as good, if not better shape than they could ever imagined. That is what I'm leading towards from that initial call. So it's literally just having a phone call and lowering that anxiety level that they may have.
What's the typical timeline from when the team agrees with the facility and then you make that phone call? How long does the groundskeeper have to worry in their head?
I think it all comes down to when the event space knows that we have a signed contract, and that usually happens probably August, September, October of the prior year.
Okay.
And so I don't typically speak with groundskeepers until about 2 to 3 weeks in advance. Okay. Sometimes they'll reach out in advance, but I do know that they're all talking. Once they know the Bananas are coming, they're getting on the phone with, at the time, Dave Meller in Fenway, or any of these guys where we have already been. And so they're already starting those conversations. So again, by doing right by the groundskeepers at the shows that we played, that helps us when we eventually talk, right? Because they can speak their language. They trust each other. They're going to say, yeah, there's a little bit more volume around the pitcher's mound, but they stayed away from some of the trouble areas, and they did what they say they were going to do. So that, I think those conversations happen in August, September of the prior year.
Definitely.
And then so when I hop on a phone call, hopefully we didn't screw something up, and it's a little bit easier to lower that anxiety level.
Well, and now they can hear all about it on the groundskeeper chats as well. So they'll know who to call. And we've got a few really cool guests lined up who have experienced Banana Ball in the last couple of weeks, to, just reiterate really what you're saying, just how great of an experience it was, and the fun challenge, how it kind of switches things up throughout a long season. So I'm excited that this is a new theme within our show, but also just in the industry, and something that groundskeepers can walk away being like, yeah, I did that. And I helped facilitate, this thing that has really become larger than life. what's one of your favorite either trick plays or dances or just games as a whole that you can look back on from this season and be like, yeah, that was really cool to be a part of?
Fenway is such an iconic stadium. And we were lucky enough to play there last year. We returned this year over the 5th and the 6th, July 5th and 6th.
So cool.
And that was really, really special because, one, that's the hometown of Jesse Cole, our owner.
Okay.
And we had phenomenal guest appearances, Johnny Damon, Bill Lee, people like that. But we also had All-American Rejects who joined us. And so we put on they played 4 songs or so. And we had to figure that out. And that was really, really special. That was a guest appearance. That was special. Nobody knew that was happening.
Love it.
And so that was really cool. My favorite trick play, it's got to be the backflip catch in outfield. DR Meadows, our center fielder, was the first one to do it.
Love it.
Ball hit 100 miles per hour off the bat, 400 feet, and he does a full-on backflip, catches the ball in midair.
Crazy.
He plussed that by throwing his glove away and doing the same thing by catching it.
I saw that. So cool.
Unbelievable. There's been a lot of amazing things in sports athletically. I've never seen anything more athletic than DR Meadows doing that. That's been pretty cool. Dances, I think they're all great. I mean, our guys just crush all those dances, but yeah.
Have you ever had to participate in a dance?
Always.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, whenever we, Hey Baby is always a staple that we do.
I love it.
We do a pregame dance right after our infield, outfield. And then if we win, we have a post-game win dance. So, Tyler Gillum and I, who run the Bananas, we got relegated to the back row. We used to be in the front row. But now we're the back row boys trying to make our way to the front. I don't know. I think they put all the pretty good-looking guys in the front, which is totally fine. We'll hold it down in the back.
Always the young guys. Always the young guys.
It's always the young guys, man.
Chris always asks this question, and especially for you, I can assume a young kid who had aspirations to be a player. Now you're on the coach side, coaching a game at Fenway. I can't imagine the surreal moment that was for you. Try and describe that for us.
It's super emotional because, especially Fenway, if you've never been to Fenway, you walk into that ballpark and it's like walking in a living museum. Yeah. If you are a baseball fan or not, you instantly feel ghosts of baseball past. You really do. And the ballpark is so quirky and amazing. The field is amazing. And one thing that never gets old at Fenway is when you're standing in the coaching box and you look at the facade that says Fenway Park. And that's the same facade that's been there for 100 years or ever since Fenway got started. And you really it really just snaps you back to perspective about how special this thing is and how lucky we are to be able to do this at these iconic stadiums. It's surreal. The games move fast, the show moves fast, but at some of these ballparks, I do take a moment to take a deep breath, literally look around, take it all in, because what we're doing, getting play on these absolute cathedrals, these beautiful ballparks, is special. Not everybody gets to go on the field. And so if you're having a bad day, just think back and have some perspective about these cool things you get to do, but mostly about all the smiles you get to put on people's faces. That's just not a line. That's the truth. And if you're struggling in your job, try to find some real perspective, or try to find something that gives you energy, and that will help propel you through the day. I
love it.
And it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And you've definitely accomplished sharing smiles and joys with us today. But I just love the entire organization. You guys, Chris and I were just talking about it this morning. You guys used to have those little flip cards on your website, and it would have the fun facts about all the employees who worked there. And just interacting with you guys on that very base level, you just knew that this company and organization was different. And I think in the last 5 years, as you've taken the show on the road, so many people have got to experience that. And we love that our groundskeepers and our sports field managers have been affected by that in a positive way as well. So, there's so many people involved, I'm sure, but we thank you for, coming on the chat and sharing that with us for sure.
Thank you so much. I mean, we love what we do, and we love talking about it, and hopefully from a turf management standpoint or a groundskeeper standpoint, if we come to one of your stadiums and we have the honor of doing that, just know that we do love the game of baseball, but we also want to put on the greatest show. We're not going to tear up your field like a concert does. I can assure you of that.
Yeah.
But we look forward to coming to a lot more ballparks next year as we're adding 2 more teams. And so
very cool.
If we haven't come to your ballpark, brace for impact, because you're going to be able to beat us, and I'm going to be able to shake your hand and probably give you a big old hug. So, hope to see all you guys out at the ballpark soon.
Well, yeah, I definitely, next time you guys come, we're in Cleveland, Ohio is where our HQ is. So next time you guys come to Progressive, I think my kids would absolutely love it. I think they'd actually stay in their seats for that one, not spend the entire time in that stupid kids clubhouse. So I would love to come out and experience it.
It's clubhouse, Meg.
What was that?
It's a good kids clubhouse. Come on now.
Not stupid at all. Not stupid at all. It's just when you're at the game and you could see it. It's there. It's so close. You being actually able to sit in your seat and enjoy it. And you're like, trapped behind some like dollhouse for hours on end. But a banana ball, they would do the trick, I think, for my kids. So we'll see. Maybe one day. Are you guys coming back to Cleveland? Do you know yet for next season?
You have to wait and tune in October when we release our schedule.
Okay, stay tuned, everyone.
I don't know yet. I don't know. We loved it. Progressive was great.
Wonderful. Good. Then that means that we made a great impression. So there's a chance you'll come back.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you again, Adam. We really appreciate your time. And I'm excited to see, how the world tour continues to grow. And I will continue to keep TikTok on my phone so that I can interact with it that way. That's my preferred method. But one day, be a fan in the seats as well.
Well, it was a pleasure speaking to both of you. And if anybody has any questions for me, they can reach out to me. I'll give you my email address. It's viro@thesavannahbananas.com. Feel free to shoot me an email. I will get back to you if you guys have any questions about any of those football field builds that we had, or if you're a groundskeeper and we're coming to your city and you want to know more, feel free to reach out. This takes an army. This takes a huge team in order to pull this off, and that includes the field managers. And so, open book, reach out if anybody has any questions.
I love that. I think we need to get you a spot at our sports field management conference. Every year in January. I think a lot of people would, learn a lot from just hearing your perspective. And it's in Texas this year, so not a bad place to be. It's always bigger in Texas.
All right, sign me up.
Wonderful. Well, yes, thank you, Adam. And I definitely think we'll keep in contact and talk soon here.
All right. You guys have a great day. It was such a pleasure speaking to both of you.